And we are live with John Horejs, his second episode of Ask the Artist. And today we are live from, where are we live from, Dad?
Litchfield Park, Arizona, my studio.
Studio?
Actually, my bedroom.
His boudoir. So here we are in the bedroom of John Horejs. Pretty cool. And today, the question that we decided to address from our audience is, do you choose the artwork for the space or the space for the artwork? Which way do you do it? It's like the chicken and the egg, right?
Exactly.
So tell us which one.
Well, if you have a piece you really, really like, you choose the space for your artwork. If you have a space
That's just empty?
then you choose the artwork for the space. Wait,
Okay.
Did I just say that?
Yeah, I think you said that right. So today we're
Okay.
going to try some different paintings in this space.
A lovely space here today. We're starting out blank. We have a nice table underneath. We want something that's going to accessorize the room, show the wall off, and show the piece off. So we're going to try, we have several pieces. How do you decide what size you want, what colors you want, what makes it look right and feel comfortable? Here's a piece, a wildflower piece, one that I've painted, by the way, and we're going to put that up here over the table. Hopefully it will stay on the wall and not fall off.
Although that could be funny too.
Yeah. So is it level?
It looks like it could go down just a little bit on that corner.
Okay. So this piece could definitely work here. It may be a little small for the space. I like to have less space between the table and the piece, but I like to have the piece hung at pretty much eye level so that when you're standing you can see it.
So
and it feels right.
Whose eye level? Is that going to be a tall person or a short person? Because Mom's eye level would be a little bit different than Dad's eye level.
Yeah. So is this more your eye level or my eye level?
It's a little high for me. I think.
So would you just go with like the average height eye level?
You could go with kind of an average. Yeah, I always like intuition. I like to go with what feels right. To me, this feels a little high, but if I put it lower, it could work if it were lower. I like it to feel more like a compliment to the table than a cloud floating in the air over the table. But that's a personal thing, and you can do what you like, but there's really no design rule. It's more what feels right. And to me, this feels like the piece is too small for the space.
Okay, so this one feels a little too small. We're going to try on another piece. This is just like being in the dressing room at the mall.
Yeah, we're going to
that
put
one
on
we thought was just a little too small. Felt snug like after Thanksgiving.
Let's try this one.
Okay, now these colors are a lot different than what you just put up before as well.
Yeah.
But we're
And
talking
that one's
size right now.
Not going to fit on the hanger very well. It definitely needs to be hung higher. It could work very nicely if it were hung up about, say, yay high. It would be very handsome in the space. The colors are nice. Maybe center it a little bit more over the table. You could put it right in the middle of the table. Which way do we go? What is the feeling you want in the room?
I like that, the size of that better than the first.
Yeah, definitely. You get a better feeling. Okay, let's try another piece. Let's try something a little more modern, because there are a lot of different styles of art. You want something that will... Now, you could look at this and say, well, that table is a little too traditional. I personally like mixing. I like an eclectic sort of look. I like the modern with the traditional. I think it's kind of fun.
I think that might be my favorite yet.
That's a personal thing again. The colors are very interesting in this piece, more muted, and the subject is not so that you would be
I think for me, this one, I would notice the table more walking into the room because of the piece. I don't know. The other ones, I would have been drawn right to the piece rather than the table.
Yeah.
But it seems like these two are meant to go together a little bit.
Complement each other. Okay. And see, that's hung a little too high. Feels better a little lower.
Yeah.
And these are things you just have to try. And you can, go one way or the other. I don't mind it off center. There's a range where it will feel really good. That's
Talking
too
about
low.
centering, if you're centering, sometimes I always wonder if I should center it on the wall between, say, two windows, or if I should center it, if, say, my couch is in front of that area, should I center it on the couch? How do you decide where you're centering if you are centering?
You have somebody help you hold it up together and see what feels right to you. There's no set rule, but you can tell usually what will feel most comfortable, most elegant.
So there's no set rule?
No, there's not a set rule.
Do we have another piece to try?
Let's try. We have a little larger piece that's kind of transitional between contemporary, and the subject is pretty well defined. Let's see what it looks like here. Now this is a larger piece. It could still work. It doesn't need to be hung hardly off the table at all. You don't want it too high. It feels like it's going to fall over. You want it down so that it becomes a unit with the table. And that one's probably better centered pretty much. You get the feel of that?
I thought that one would look too big there, just judging, like looking at it at first, but it really doesn't feel too big.
It really feels nice in the room. The colors are great with all of the elements of the room. It feels quite nice. So you can see, you can either go a traditional, transitional, or contemporary piece in the same room and have it feel
completely different
and really
Now,
nice.
I'm a person, though, when I've selected art in the past, because I'm not in the room, I'm not a good judge of the size. So what would I need to know if I'm walking into a gallery? And I know my space. Let's say we are coming from a place of I have the space that I want to fill. I kind of have an idea of the colors, but what else should I know before?
You can, for example, you could take a piece of brown paper or a piece of cardboard and cut it to a size and put it over the wall and get an idea of the feeling of what you like better, a large, small, and you can get an idea of the measurements. And as long as the piece you're looking at comes close to those measurements, then you could ask the gallery if you could take it out and try it in your space to make sure that it's going to... Really, that's something you want to do, because a lot of times you can get a piece home and it just doesn't feel the way you thought it would when you get it there. So most galleries are pretty good about letting you
try it on,
try the piece.
But that's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that beforehand, about trying different sizes in the space, even if you don't know the piece. So you said cut out cardboard
or just a piece of brown paper, and tape it up on the wall, and you can see how that space is going to...
with just the size. And then you can go and say, now I need what size is this, for example?
This is a 50 by 50.
50, so that's fairly large. So
that's pretty large.
Looking for 50 by 50, and that will help you when you go to the gallery to let them know what you're looking for.
Yes.
Very nice. So now you have a couple of smaller pieces. Can we try those? We went larger. Now let's go smaller.
And this all goes more to the design realm than it does the art realm or the creative realm, but it's all part of the same thing. I create my paintings. I always have the end result in mind. I want to think about the space where they're going to go when I'm creating them. So part of the reason I work in a space that is more finished and looks more like a room is as I'm creating, I want to think about your space that you're going to be putting it in and have it feel like it should be congruent and right with that space. So here's two pieces. They're a little bit different, kind of fun, and you can see it would be fun. Do you want to hold that one up, Elaine? you can see they could be really fun in the room. They could go up a little higher
So as a pair.
as a pair.
Could
You could do.
would it feel too small to have just one?
What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a little small. Two pieces, kind of nice. They could work well if you can envision it without the hook up there.
Yeah. Nice. And the colors there are bright and different than what we were looking at,
And
kind
they
of fit in
the
with-
colors fit in the room. So, but you really can't tell until you get it in the room with your light and your space and your other furnishings, how it's going to look once you get it in the room. However, if you're looking at a piece of art, sometimes there's investment art and, and designer or decorator art, kind of. If you're looking at a piece that you're really in love with, buy it anyway, and then take it home and find the space that it looks good in.
Rosalie Lindner says, howdy.
Howdy.
How are you?
Rosalie, great. And you?
So we're just talking about whether you should select art based on a space that you need to fill, or if you can buy something just because you like it and then find the space. And the answer is both.
Yeah.
That's what we've discovered so far. So this is completely different size.
A different shape. And I personally, I wouldn't probably put this piece over that table, but it might fill your need. It might feel the way you want it to feel.
Why wouldn't you put that over?
I just don't like the two shapes. They're almost too repetitive.
Okay, because I would have thought, oh, that's almost the same shape as that table, so maybe I should buy that. But that's
There
interesting.
you go. Yeah, and if that's what you're looking for and that's what you want, it can work for you. But I personally would prefer something a little higher and more either square or almost vertical.
Something that would
in the
contrast
space
that
so that
shape.
it complements the table rather than matching.
Okay, well then
Does that
I
make
have a
sense?
question because I know
Let's
that.
go up a little bit.
Oh, a little bit higher here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See
it
the
does feel-
difference?
That feels more balanced.
It could be hung there and it would work well.
I like those colors.
Yeah, the colors work nicely.
I'd feel like I was looking out a window.
Yeah. So
But let me ask you this question then, because you said that the shape of that you wouldn't prefer, but then I notice that you've got a long piece, kind of the similar shape of the bed here.
And that works really well because of the conglomeration of furniture that it's meant to complement.
Okay. So like you said, it's just personal preference, I guess,
Personal
then.
preference.
And then what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, you have a long, narrow piece like that over your fireplace, and it's quite elegant there.
Sometime we'll have to go visit my house and show off
You just
my
have to
effort.
try it and see how it works.
Very nice.
And then you get too high.
Okay.
So you just want to get it where it feels right to you. And if you can't tell, call me.
He'll come over.
Send me a photo.
That's what I do. When I have a question about how high it should be, I call my dad and he comes over.
Yeah.
Very nice. What
All
any other pieces that you wanted to show us?
Just the one that we've had hanging up here. We have a piece in this room that I rather enjoy the size and shape of and the colors. So we'll put it up on the hook and let you see how it feels.
There
we go.
This is, you said vertical, and this we haven't tried this shape yet.
Yeah.
Or this, did you call it a shape?
We've had this hanging here for a while, and I just kind of like the feel. Is that straight?
That looks pretty
You
good.
do, if you can do it, you want your piece to be pretty straight with the tabletop and the
Want it to be level.
room.
So I noticed, so let's ask just a few questions about actually hanging the painting. I know my husband has hung paintings before, and he always uses like a laser leveler and a stud finder. What tools do you use when you're hanging a painting?
I use a hammer and a nail.
Yeah.
I keep
Old
it
school.
pretty simple. Well, again, it's intuition versus, I'm sure Phil has his tape measure out
Yes.
and is measuring and, trying to figure out.
He's calculating the dead center to make sure that it's
and
under.
I've hung paintings for so long that it's totally a matter of feel for me. Every once in a while I get it wrong. Move the nail. It moves and you can put it where you want it.
Very nice.
So
So we
does any-
have a few people joined our broadcast here.
Oh,
We've got
cool.
Boyd Winterholler, we've got Isaac Brown, hello.
Cool.
And we have Michael Rossness.
Oh, hi, Michael.
So do any of our audience members have any questions for John about hanging paintings or anything else that you would like to know while we're here on Ask the Artist? I think you might have answered all of their questions. Would you like him to whistle a medley? Matthew Summers is watching.
Oh, hi, Matthew. So if you have any questions that you think of along this next few days, you can submit them to us and we'll try and answer them for you in one of our
Upcoming broadcasts.
We've got a list of pretty good questions we're going to be working on in the next little while. So thank you for joining us. Appreciate your time and have fun.
We'll see you next week.